up, and so I was like, boom, 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 and I didn't investigate this. So if it's bad, it's not my fault. Thank you so much for your daily blessing. If it's bad, it's not my fault. All right.
20 years of video games packed into 3 minutes of flesh-tearing, bone-crunching summary. You better believe it's Resident Evil in...
Resident Evil.
Wait, what is this? Where all these bugs come from? Guys?
Where all these bugs come from?
I'm Lady Alcina Dimitrescu, and who better than me to lead you through the entire history of Resident Evil in 5-ish minutes. Let's begin. So a lot of this hullabaloo started back in 1968 when 3 adorably short men named Edward Ashford, James Marcus, and Oswald
Thank you,
E.
CPZ.
Spencer founded the
Not the
Umbrella
adorably
Corporation
short
to work on
men.
totally cool and good science that's good for the world and definitely not evil. The scientists had
Definitely
been
not
using
evil.
Stairway to the Sun, a rare African flower, to work on something called the progenitor virus in a secret laboratory hidden in a spooky castle. Young scientist William Birkin was then able to convince his friend Albert Wesker to stop working on his Matrix cosplay and
yes.
join Umbrella. Birkin begins developing
Wait, I'm sorry. To stop working on a Matrix cosplay and come help. Hang on, wait. Virus comes from a flower? Wait, you didn't know that? I knew that. That's why Resident Evil 5 takes place in Africa. They followed the pathing all the way to Africa. I did not. Okay, yeah, that's why Resident Evil 5 takes place in Africa, because Chris followed it all the way back there. I skipped 5 and 6. Listen, I know they're not good. But they still are canon. Runes, you can't skip anything. Play the bad video games.
Progenitor strain called the G virus. Meanwhile, Marcus creates a nightmare cocktail of leech DNA, progenitor virus, and Ebola to make his very own T virus. Suspicious of one another, the Umbrella team begins to turn on each other, with Spencer ordering Wesker to murder Marcus. Isn't that Wesker adorable? He's 6'3", a height I haven't been since I was a little girl. Very cute. Together, the remaining members of Umbrella High Command built a giant facility beneath Raccoon City. After bribing local police, Umbrella embeds itself in local law enforcement through the creation of Special Tasks and Rescue Services, or STARS, a force led by Albert Wesker. We'll skip ahead to 1998, where member of STARS Bravo team, Rebecca Chambers, quaintly 6'3", teams up with an escaped convict named Billy to investigate a train attacked by the T-virus spreading version of one of my personal favorite creatures,
Then how tall is Billy?
Rebecca
Billy's a
and Billy
giant.
learn the secret of the virus's origin, while Wesker begins plans to abandon Umbrella to join a rival organization. When confronted, Umbrella sicks a tyrant on him, which he defeats because he's a very tough, tiny little man. Wesker concocts a plan to lure STARS members to the old Umbrella mansion to
Resident
test
Evil
out his
0 was
new
not
bioweapons.
the
Rebecca and Billy
best.
find
I'm not saying
the
it was
Queen
bad.
Leech, a monster living in the reanimated corpse of Dr. Marcus. And after
Wait, that's
destroying it,
horrible.
they part ways. Rebecca heading towards that spooky trap mansion. Jill Valentine, Chris Redfield, and Albert Wesker arrive at the
Scooby Van.
spooky trap mansion. Jill and Chris learn about the evils of Umbrella, and Wesker is revealed as a betrayer, infecting himself with the T-virus as the good guys fight a tyrant and Wesker escapes. Chris, Jill, and Rebecca decide
this
to
in the
investigate
ring.
Umbrella, and Chris goes to Europe. Jill and Rebecca
The game
investigate
was
the
so
secret lab beneath Raccoon
hard.
City, which has now become infested with zombies and secret Umbrella bioweapons. Leon Kennedy and Chris's sister Claire show up to Raccoon City, investigating a police station and meeting the new monster-fied version of William Birkin, who is responsible for the virus spreading to Raccoon City. They also get chased around by the cute little Mr. X. Leon meets FBI agent Ada Wong, who is revealed to
Resident
actually
Evil 5
be a
is definitely
mercenary
not the
before she gets
second
shot
best
and
game.
dies. Together, Leon and Claire
That
destroy
one-
the secret nest facility beneath
I
Raccoon
think
City
Resident
and
Evil 5 is
escape.
very
Jill
fun. Okay, we
Valentine
gotta
meets
pause. Okay, Resident Evil 5 is very fun, and Ryan and I had a great time playing it. I think that the combat and stuff is fun, and I think it's very silly. But as a Resident Evil game tier list, I bust out the tier list, everybody gets disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not actually sure which I think is my favorite. now that you asked that question, I have to ponder the universe. Which Resident Evil game is my favorite? I've never actually thought about it before. Because I like the series as like a whole, and I like playing them. Except for Zero, because I miss my item box. But I can look past the item box. But I've never actually sat down and went, that one's my favorite. Really cute thumbnail, by the way. Thank you. I made it myself. You've now asked me the hard question. I don't know if you guys actually realize, I have a very hard time picking favorites. So, Resident Evil tier list stream soon. Let me question the universe, I guess, and stare at them and figure out which one I like the best. But somehow I feel like there's a wrong answer. See, okay, that's my problem when it comes to picking favorite things. There might be a wrong answer. What if I'm like, I wouldn't, but I'm like, oh yeah, Resident Evil 6 is my favorite. That's no one's favorite. And then y'all are like, really, Yuki?
𝎟ᓝ📟𓎟📟, and together they attempt to find the T-virus vaccine and escape Raccoon City before the government can missile strike it to hell. Chased by the nemesis monster, who is a charming 7'3", they make it to Nest 2, destroy the facility, and escape with the vaccine. But the vaccine is destroyed by Carlos's former friend, Nikolai. Umbrella Corp is no more, and that doesn't stop Leon from meeting surprise, not dead, Ada in space.
Is that
together they save the president's daughter from some cultists named Los Illuminados,
is that the multiplayer one?
Infected by a mind
Where you play as Umbrella stuff on Steam? I think they took it off. Code Veronica. I couldn't beat Code Veronica. Actually, I'm embarrassed to say this. Come in, everybody. Code Veronica is the only Resident Evil game that I have not beaten because it was actually hard. I couldn't beat it. It's the only one that has thwarted me. Like, that one is hard. I do have the thing on PS5. We should try again. But I got my butt kicked. Maybe it'll be better if when they remake Code Veronica. Everyone keeps saying Code Veronica's next, Resident Evil 0's next on the remake list, or like Resident Evil 5's getting like, guys, just pick a lane. Which one is it? If you're gonna leak information, leak the right information.
Also escapes with the president's daughter. Chris and his new friend Sheva are in Africa, tracking down a bioweapons dealer operating with a Plagas-like virus called Ouroboros. We learn that Jill has died, although this turns out to be a falsehood and she's still alive. But she's mind-controlled by Wesker and his evil company, Tricell. Chris and Sheva rescue Jill and fight Wesker in a volcano, saving the day. Chris Redfield and Leon have to team up with Jake Mueller, Wesker's secret son, to fight against a group named after Wesker's two favorite things, Neo Umbrella. Ultimately, the good guys
I do want to see Boulder punching in Ultra 4K
trying to find his wife, Mia. He finds her trapped by a disgustingly low-class family named the Bakers, where he has a traumatizing dinner. The Bakers work for a shadow organization and definitely not actually a boomer.
Hey Ryan, you're a Resident Evil gamer. Which one is your favorite? I put my hands together in an evil pose with a smile. Which one's your favorite, honey?
Fight called The Connections. After a scuffle with the Bakers, Ethan and Mia escape but are confronted by Evelyn, a biomonster that Mia, secretly a secret agent, was working to escort. Ethan has to destroy Evelyn when she turns into a giant monster, and he's rescued by none other than Chris Redfield. Oh, and this is exciting because we're now up to my grand entrance, Resident Evil Village. This one follows Ethan Winters as he investigates my delightfully spooky mansion and tries to rescue his daughter.
You know, it's funny because a lot of you didn't get to see when Ryan and I played through it. I made Ryan be Sheva so that I could be Chris. And then I just went, Sheva! 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 For however, it was a few streams, several hours. Yes, we did make it fun. I hope if they remake 5, they leave it multiplayer. I do.
Another thing, or 5. I tell you more, but I don't want to ruin the surprise. I hope you were able to stay safe from the T, G, and C viruses while avoiding the zombie hordes, because that was the entire Resident Evil series in 5 minutes.
Ish. blocks in my Minecraft. See, that's what I was saying. I don't think that Resident Evil 5 had, like, the best story or the best bosses or something. But I think the fact that it was co-op and you could play with a friend